Spirit warriors, listen close. You're not paranoid. They're really watching you. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the air shift, like suddenly you were the center of everyone's silent attention? Not because of what you wore, not because of what you said, but because of something deeper, something divine within you? A woman once told me she used to feel invisible all her life. She prayed in silence, served others in the shadows, and never asked for attention. One day she started glowing without realizing it, not literally, but energetically. People began whispering about her, watching her. Some admired her. Others envied her. She was the same person, but something had awakened within her. She hadn't changed for the world. The world had finally started seeing her. Why? Because the veil had lifted. She had stepped fully into her chosen nature. That's what this video is about. All eyes are on you now because the truth is out. You are chosen, and they know. You can't unsee it. Neither can they. You've got spirit all over you. You carry the weight of generations in your DNA. You're not here just to fit in. You're here to break the mold. That makes people uncomfortable, but it also makes you unforgettable. The world sees something in you that you sometimes forget is even there. You want to know what it is? Those who carry light will always be noticed, especially in the darkest rooms. That's you, chosen one, so stay with me, spirit warriors. I'm going to break down exactly why everyone suddenly has you under their microscope, why your presence shifts atmospheres, why your name comes up in rooms you've never stepped into. Because you didn't ask for this light, but it chose you. And once you're awakened, you can never go back to sleep. Keep watching until the end. These 7 truths will not only explain what you're feeling, but also empower you to own the spiritual power you carry. You're not imagining the attention. You're not being dramatic. You're being seen by heaven, by watchers, by the world. Let's get into it. Point 1. Your energy disturbs their spirits. You don't even have to say a word. Your presence, pure, powerful, unshakable, does the talking for you. Ever walk into a room and notice how conversations suddenly die down? People stiffen, they look away, fidget, clear their throats, or suddenly become overly nice or unusually distant. That's not your imagination. That's your energy in action. Your silence is louder than the loudest person in the room because you radiate something that can't be faked. Truth. And in a world conditioned to be comfortable with illusions, truth is disruptive. Let's break this down. You are a spirit warrior, a chosen one. Your soul is awakened, aware, aligned. That level of spiritual clarity can make others uncomfortable, especially those who haven't done their inner work. You see, most people walk around with wounds they've buried deep, traumas, guilt, insecurity, jealousy, pride. And when you show up in your authenticity without even trying, your energy acts like a spiritual flashlight shining straight into those dark corners they've been avoiding. You don't need to expose them. They feel exposed just by standing near you. That's the mirror effect. You reflect back to people exactly what they've been hiding from themselves. And here's the twist. They don't even know why they feel weird around you. They'll say things like, "You're intense," or "You're too quiet," or even, "There's just something about you." That something is your vibration. According to quantum physics, everything is energy, including human emotion and thought. Your energy field is constantly interacting with the frequencies around you. When your vibration is high, meaning you're in alignment with truth, peace, and purpose, it will naturally repel anything low vibrational. That's why people with chaotic spirits or unhealed trauma can't relax around you. It's not personal, it's spiritual. You don't gossip, you don't chase clout, you don't bow to social norms that don't align with your soul. That already sets you apart. But it's your emotional discipline and spiritual depth that truly shift atmospheres. You enter a space and unknowingly raise the energetic bar. Some people will be inspired by that, others will be intimidated, but no one will ignore it. Ever notice how people confess things to you they never planned to share, or how children and animals gravitate toward you? That's because your energy feels like safety to the pure-hearted and like judgment to the guilty. You remind people of who they were before the world hardened them. You don't preach, but your presence convicts. You don't try to fix people, but your light exposes the cracks in their mask. That's why they either admire you or avoid you. And when the demons get nervous, you know you're walking in divine alignment. Spiritual warfare isn't always about battles you can see, it's about energies that clash. When you walk into a room and darkness gets disturbed, it means your light is doing its job. You are not average. You are not meant to blend in. You were sent to disrupt, to heal, to shift. You are what some call an atmosphere shifter. That's not just poetic, it's prophetic. The best part? You don't need to defend your presence. You don't need to explain why people react the way they do. Your energy, shaped by trials, wisdom, and divine assignment, will speak for you. Stay grounded, stay humble, stay true. The world may not always understand your silence, but the spirit realm recognizes your authority. So, the next time people start acting off around you, don't shrink. Don't question yourself. That's confirmation. Your spirit is awake in a world that's still dreaming. And every time you walk into a space, you remind it, truth still lives here. Point 2, you trigger their insecurities. Here's something you need to understand. Not everyone is healed enough to handle your presence. And that's not your fault. It's just a fact of spiritual and emotional reality. Some people are so deeply entangled in their own wounds that the mere sight of someone standing in their light makes them uncomfortable. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your very existence is a mirror they didn't ask for. When you walk in peace, they feel their inner chaos. When you grow, they feel their stagnation. When you show discipline, it highlights the disorder they've been avoiding. And when blessings begin to flow into your life, they can't help but question why favor hasn't knocked on their door too. You become a living contrast to everything they've suppressed or ignored. Psychologists call this emotional projection, when people displace their own insecurities onto others. So if someone seems irritated by your joy, suspicious of your success, or even dismissive of your peace, it may have little to do with you and everything to do with them. Your glow doesn't offend them because it's bright. It offends them because it's authentic. They can't stand that you've done the inner work they've avoided. And every time you rise, you unintentionally hold up a mirror that exposes where they're still lying to themselves. But here's the truth. You weren't born to shrink. You weren't sent here to play small or dim your light just to make others feel more comfortable in their shadows. God didn't call you to be palatable. He called you to be powerful. You were anointed not to blend in, but to stand out. And standing out means not everyone will clap when you walk into your blessing. Some will side-eye. Some will gossip. Some will silently compete. And others will try to reduce your shine to make their dimness seem justified. Let them. Because when favor finds you, it's not a negotiation, it's a declaration. A sign that something divine is working through you, that you've aligned yourself with purpose, obedience, and spiritual responsibility, and people notice, even when they pretend not to. They're watching you because they can't ignore you. They might roll their eyes, but they never look away. Why? Because deep down they sense something holy is navigating your steps. Your peace makes noise even when you're silent. Your growth is disruptive to anyone committed to staying the same. And while their first instinct may be to mock, doubt, or distance themselves, the truth has a funny way of circling back. In time, many of those same people who couldn't handle your energy will wish they had honored it when they had the chance. You'll see them go from critics to spectators, and eventually some will try to become students of the light they once rejected. That's not your concern. Your only assignment is to keep evolving, keep healing, and keep obeying God's call on your life. Your glow-up isn't revenge, it's revelation. So don't lower your volume to match their discomfort. Don't water down your wisdom to make space for their ignorance. And don't apologize for being anointed. You're not responsible for their healing. You're responsible for your obedience, the rest. Leave it in God's hands. He has a way of using even your presence as a sermon they can't unhear. Keep walking in purpose. Let them wrestle with their reflections while you rise in your revelation. Point 3, you carry a divine assignment. You didn't choose this path. This path chose you. You weren't chasing glory or asking for spotlight. You were minding your own business, walking through life like anyone else until destiny tapped you on the shoulder and said, "Tag, you're it." And not just it, but chosen. A rare breed, not picked by people, but appointed by something higher. You're not just another face in the crowd. You're carrying divine assignments coded in your spirit. Chosen ones aren't just spiritual celebrities basking in cosmic popularity. No, you're far more potent than that. You're divine messengers in human form, kingdom representatives. You were sent here not just to survive this life, but to shift atmospheres, disrupt demonic systems, and bring light into shadows so deep that others get lost in them. You walk this earth with heaven's signature on your soul, and that comes with a responsibility, a weight, and a target. It's not your clothes or your voice or even your walk that draws people's attention. It's what's on you and in you. There's a vibration, a frequency, a spiritual authority that people feel before you even speak. Scientific studies in neuroscience and psychology have shown that the human brain can pick up subtle energetic cues, body language, eye movement, tone of voice, within milliseconds. Now amplify that with a heavenly anointing, and what you get is someone who can walk into a room and shift the mood without saying a single word. Your eyes carry vision, not just regular sight, but prophetic sight. You see behind the mask. You discern what's not being said. You hear through the noise. Your intuition isn't paranoia, it's revelation. That's why your words hit different. You're not just speaking, you're piercing. Cutting through lies, illusions, and spiritual fog with a truth that makes people uncomfortable. Not because you're being harsh, but because truth challenges the comfort of deception. That's why strangers stare at you for no reason. They're not seeing your hairstyle or your outfit, they're feeling your spirit. It's like something about you interrupts their regularly scheduled programming. That's why people from your past drifted away. Old friends can't survive in the new light you walk in. They were familiar with who you were, but they don't recognize who you're becoming. It's not personal, it's spiritual. And that's also why new people keep popping up saying, there's something different about you. They may not have the vocabulary for it, but what they're really saying is, I recognize your spirit. It's a soul-level acknowledgement. And whether they love you, admire you, or feel threatened by you, they feel you. You are marked by heaven. But don't get it twisted. Hell noticed too. The enemy doesn't attack anything that isn't a threat. If your life has been filled with unusual warfare, bizarre setbacks, and invisible resistance, it's because something in your life terrifies darkness. Demons don't waste time on the irrelevant. They assign attacks to destiny carriers. But here's the catch. What hell meant to break you only built you. You're still standing. And that's the part that scares the enemy most. You know who you are now. So walk with your head high, not in arrogance, but in divine awareness. You were never too sensitive, too deep, or too intense. You were just aware in a world that's asleep. You were awakened early for a reason. Your life is a divine blueprint wrapped in flesh. You're not here by accident, and your calling isn't optional. Heaven backs you, earth watches you, and hell fears you. Chosen one, the path didn't just find you by chance, it claimed you by purpose. Point 4, you radiate unapologetic truth. Let's get one thing straight. Chosen ones don't fake it. Not for clout, not for acceptance, not even for survival. You walk into a room and your presence alone sends waves. Not because you're loud, flashy, or performing, but because your energy is real, and in a world flooded with imitation, realness hits like thunder. You don't pretend to like what you hate. Your soul quite literally rejects inauthenticity like an allergic reaction, and that's not an exaggeration. Studies in psychology have shown that people with high emotional intelligence tend to be more in tune with internal dissonance. That's you. You feel it when something's off, when the vibe is fake, when the words don't match the intent. While others may go along just to keep the peace, you'd rather walk alone than wear a mask. That kind of integrity is rare, and it rattles people. You're allergic to surface-level conversations because your mind operates on a higher frequency. While others are chatting about gossip, trends, and comparison games, you're thinking about purpose, alignment, energy, and growth. That's not arrogance, it's spiritual maturity. You crave substance, not status. You value meaning, not manipulation. And while others smile for the camera and lie with their eyes, you choose silence over small talk and authenticity over applause. Here's the twist. Your authenticity is magnetic, but it's also intimidating. People can't help but be drawn to you, yet they don't always know why. It's because your presence confronts what they've buried. You remind them of what they're pretending not to be. You represent the self they silenced to fit in, the voice they muted to survive, and the truth they buried beneath layers of image and insecurity. It's not that they hate you, it's that they can't unsee themselves when they're around you. Why? Because most people have built entire lives around illusions, carefully crafted personas. Instagram highlight reels, relationships rooted in fear, not love, careers driven by money, not meaning. You, on the other hand, operate in truth, and truth makes people uncomfortable before it sets them free. The truth exposes, and exposure demands change, and change? That's scary to those still clinging to their comfort zones. You don't try to expose them, it just happens by being who you are. That's the impact of a chosen one. You don't make noise, you make shifts. You don't aim to lead, your path naturally becomes one others follow. Impact doesn't always win friends, but it shifts atmospheres. They watch you because they don't understand how you keep showing up, glowing without validation, growing without applause, and thriving without schemes. Some try to figure you out, they analyze, mimic, or criticize you. Others try to copy you, but they miss the core ingredient, divine anointing. See, you didn't choose this path chose you. What's inside you wasn't taught. It was planted, it was given, it was spiritually downloaded by design. And when they realize you've known their intentions, their games, their projections all along, they feel foolish because you're not naive. You just chose grace over revenge, silence over spectacle, peace over pettiness. But don't get bitter, get better. The real flex is not proving them wrong, it's proving yourself right. God uses even your enemies to teach them lessons through your elevation. The very people who tried to bury you now sit in the shade of the tree you grew in silence. Let them sit with their regret while you rise higher. Because chosen ones weren't made to blend in. You were made to disrupt, awaken, and heal just by being who you are. In a world built on illusions, authenticity is rebellion. And you, chosen one, are the quiet storm they never saw coming. Point 5. Your resilience confuses them. Sometimes help just shows up. You weren't expecting it. You didn't send out a bat signal. Yet somehow, just when you're on the edge of exhaustion or despair, the right person calls, the right door opens, or the exact answer you've been searching for lands right in your lap. Coincidence? Hardly. These chance moments are heaven-ordained interventions, carefully orchestrated by divine hands. They are not accidents, they are assignments. Angels, this is your first clue that you've been visited by a servant of God, someone dispatched from the spiritual realm to assist you in your journey. And yes, sometimes that servant doesn't have wings. They might wear sneakers and speak in emojis, but their timing is nothing short of divine. This is what we call divine logistics, the behind-the-scenes movement of spiritual forces that align people, events, and opportunities in your favor. It's the reason why the Uber driver gave you advice that shook your soul, or why a YouTube video popped up with the exact message your spirit needed. In the Bible, Hebrews 1:14 says, "Are not all angels ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation?" That means angels aren't just decorative beings floating in the sky. They're active, strategic, and very much involved in your daily life, especially when you're on a God-ordained path. So what do you do when help appears out of nowhere? First, don't dismiss it. You'd be surprised how many people shrug off a miracle simply because it didn't look how they expected. Second, acknowledge it. Gratitude opens the door for even more divine assistance. The more you appreciate, the more aligned you become with the flow of heaven's plan. Third, ask God how to steward it. That means don't just receive the blessing. Ask for wisdom to use it well, nurture it, and multiply it. Divine help is never random. It's a reminder that you are seen, loved, and supported beyond what the natural eye can comprehend. So the next time help comes at just the right time, pause and say, "Thank you, you're not lucky, you're covered." Point 6, you speak with power and purpose. When you talk, spirit warrior, people don't just hear you, they feel you. Your words are not mere sounds, they're frequencies. And those frequencies don't just resonate in ears, they vibrate in souls. Your voice has authority, not because of volume, but because of truth. You weren't called to be the loudest in the room, you were called to be the realist. And that, in a world filled with noise and distraction, is terrifying to those who thrive in confusion. There's something undeniably different about you. Even when you're silent, people turn their heads. Your silence isn't empty, it's loaded with discernment, with presence, with divine knowing. Have you ever noticed how when you walk into a room, energy shifts? Conversations stop, eyes track you, not because you're trying to be seen, but because you can't not be. You carry light, and light always exposes shadows. That's why your very presence makes certain people uncomfortable. They see their masks slipping in your reflection. You don't waste your words, and that makes every syllable sacred. You speak life into brokenness. You declare truth in the midst of lies. And you drop wisdom like spiritual grenades, silently ticking until they explode in someone's conscience hours, days, or even years later. Words like yours don't evaporate. They linger, they convict, they inspire, they shift atmospheres. Psychologists have long acknowledged that tone, body language, and intention behind words often matter more than the words themselves. This is known as the 7-38-55 rule proposed by Albert Mehrabian. 7% of meaning comes from words, 38% from tone, and 55% from body language. When a spirit warrior speaks, the alignment of all three is so tight, so authentic, that people instinctively lean in. They may not understand it logically, but spiritually they know. This is divine alignment at work. What you carry is not light entertainment, it's liberation. You weren't given a platform just to be cute or charismatic. Heaven handed you a spiritual microphone and said, go break chains. Your calling isn't about aesthetics, it's about authority. And that authority scares those who operate in manipulation, fear, and control. That's why some try to discredit you, silence you, or twist your words. But it's too late. The cat's out the bag. You've already been activated, and yes, the world is watching. But not because you're famous, it's deeper than that. They're watching because there's something about you they can't explain. You say things they didn't even know they needed to hear. You name what's been haunting them. You confirm what they've secretly believed. You turn spiritual confusion into divine clarity. That kind of presence isn't normal, it's supernatural. Even the spirit realm leans in when you speak. Why? Because your voice was forged in fire. Your authority came with a cost. Every trial, every betrayal, every wilderness season you survived refined your resonance. So now when you speak, hell gets nervous and heaven nods in agreement. Demons recognize your tone. Angels echo your declarations. The atmosphere listens because you speak with heaven's backing. Think about the prophets of old, Jeremiah, Elijah, Deborah. They weren't known for sweet lullabies. They disrupted. They challenged kings, flipped systems, and turned nations back to God with words. And that's exactly what you do in your own way, spirit warrior. You speak not just from intellect, but from divine instruction. That's why your words pierce. That's why they stick. That's why people keep coming back for more, even if they pretend they're not listening. So don't hold back. Don't shrink. Don't play small to make others feel comfortable. You were born to declare. You were born to reveal. You were born to set captives free. And every time you open your mouth in alignment with truth, the spirit realm adjusts. You don't speak for applause. You speak for awakening. And spirit warrior, we hear you. Point 7. Your destiny is not a secret anymore. Here's the final reason why all eyes are on you. Your destiny has gone public. Yes, you heard that right. You're no longer in the shadows. You've stepped out of the background, and suddenly, whether you like it or not, the spotlight is on you. And no, this isn't a coincidence. It's not just about people being nosy or curious. It's spiritual, it's prophetic, it's divine alignment. You tried to keep your head down, didn't you? You tried to blend in, stay low-key, maybe even dim your light so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable. But chosen ones, we were never meant to be invisible. Hiding might have worked for a season, when you were still growing, still healing, still figuring things out. But now you've outgrown hiding. The camouflage you once wore no longer fits. That spiritual cloak of anonymity has been lifted, and here you are, exposed, but not to be humiliated. Exposed to be positioned. Let's talk facts. Even in nature, when a tree bears fruit, it's no longer just a tree, it's a source. It stands out, it attracts attention, birds flock to it. People reach for its fruit. You're that tree now. You didn't ask for the attention, but your fruit gave you away. Your discipline, your integrity, your resilience, your ability to bounce back after every storm, that's the fruit that's making you visible. The way you carry yourself, speak truth, walk in peace, and live with intention, it exposes the anointing on your life. And guess what? That kind of elevation doesn't go unnoticed. Like Esther, you've been brought into the palace for such a time as this. Like Joseph, you were once in the pit, betrayed and overlooked. But now, your gift has made room for you. And like David, the one everyone counted out is now standing in victory with a giant's head in hand. These aren't just Bible stories, they're blueprints for your life. When God decides to elevate you, He doesn't ask for permission. He doesn't wait for popular vote. He promotes in silence and then reveals publicly. That's what's happening to you. Your destiny has gone public because your private obedience positioned you for divine visibility. You've graduated from the hidden place and now you're a light on a hill. And as the scripture says in Matthew 5:14, a city set on a hill cannot be hidden. This visibility isn't just about fame or recognition, it's about impact, it's about purpose. People are watching because they're meant to learn, be inspired, or be convicted by your example. But don't be discouraged by the attention. Don't shrink back. This is your season to walk boldly, knowing that the one who called you is also the one who covers you. And for those who don't understand your glow, for the ones who whisper, who side-eye, who wait for you to stumble, let them watch. Because your rise isn't about ego, it's about assignment. You were chosen not just to shine, but to lead. To show others what's possible when obedience meets divine timing. You didn't go viral in the spiritual realm because you were trying to impress anyone. It happened because you were faithful, because you endured, because you kept saying yes when it would have been easier to say no. That kind of spiritual track record doesn't go unnoticed. Heaven took note, and now earth has followed suit. So yes, all eyes are on you now. Not because you're perfect, but because you're positioned. Not because you're trying to be seen, but because your destiny refused to stay hidden. You are the message, the miracle, the reminder that when God ordains it, no one can deny it. The time for hiding is over. Shine, chosen one. Shine unapologetically. Spirit warriors, here's the truth. The reason everyone is watching you now is because you're walking in your truth, and truth is hard to ignore. But don't let the stares distract you. Let them remind you that you're walking in divine purpose. The eyes on you are confirmation, not intimidation. You didn't ask for this light, but you were built for it. So walk boldly, speak fearlessly, live unapologetically, because chosen one, heaven is watching with pride. And the world, they're just trying to figure out how someone like you even exists. Stay awake, stay aligned, stay chosen. Until next time, spirit warriors, keep shining.